Alright, so going into Warhammer 3, obviously we'll have a whole bunch of factions coming out, a bunch of different random nonsense with Kislev and Cathay and all that stuff, so I thought it'd be a good time to kind of do a look back at Warhammer 2 and think about good unit design versus bad unit design. I will try to be brief, but we'll go through about 3 examples of good unit design, 3 units of bad, and also Hazel's here. Hi, Hazel. As soon as I start the video, you all of a sudden want pets and love. Well, I do love you, but you're very distracting. So, unit number 1. Good unit design. Let's go to the greenskins. Goblin Wolf Riders. Now you might be like, good unit design, I hardly ever see these things. Yeah, I didn't say they're super common units, I just think they're well designed. 300 gold, very, very cheap as a basic goblin unit. They're fast, they're expendable, which is great. They have super low leadership, awful stats. They're just kind of a harassing dog-type unit that's somehow less elite than dogs, which makes sense because goblins on wolves would rout very quickly. They're nice. I think they're just great. I think CA knocked it out of the park on this unit. Now you don't see a lot of them because they're niche that greenskins don't really need, but still. Good. On the bad unit design, I'll start with the Wood Elves because I hate them. Dryads. Dryads are bullshit. Dryads are a terrible unit design in my opinion. Now, you might be like, but Human Boy, I see 5 of them every game. Yeah, that's why they're fucking bullshit. You can't give a unit, a basic infantry unit worth only 550 gold, 60 armor, 65 leadership, decent health pool, 43 speed, which is faster than a lot of factions, like a lot of other factions unit. It's tree. Like, I know some people are gonna be like, it's a tree spirit. Yeah, but it's still a tree. Either if it's a spirit, it doesn't get 60 armor. Or if it gets 60 armor, it doesn't get 43 fucking speed. It's way too fast. Magic damage, which makes it kind of a piece of shit for some ethereal factions to deal with. Decent weapon strength. They get ITP, just base ITP. They cause fear. They get physical resistance. So physical resistance, deal magic damage, ITP. They get Vanguard. And they get the Woodsman trait because they're a tree, that's fine. But like, they just have way too much for too little money. Either make them more expensive to bring them in line, or take away like 1 or 2 of these things. But they're just way too good. If you compare them right next to them, the Eternal Guard have more melee defense and slightly more leadership. And that's like it. They don't have ITP. They don't cause fear. They don't have physical resist. They don't have Vanguard deployment. They don't do magic damage. They have less armor. 10 less speed. Like, an elf is getting outrun by a tree. Bad unit design. That's dumb. And by unit design, I mean you should be able to look at it and tell roughly what it's going to do. And you don't look at a group of little tree people and expect them to fucking book ass across the field. Bad unit design. Bad. Bad. Stupid. Alright. Other good unit design. I'm trying to think of a monster that's a good unit design. Probably Phoenixes. Phoenixes are good unit design. Magic damage, fire damage, this allows them to like hunt ghosts, because if you imagine like in a story, like a phoenix swoops in and that it would just be super limp against a ghost seems dumb. Fire resistance is excellent. Being able to drop fire poops is interesting and neat. A chance of rebirth is cool. Can't always count on it. Cause terror, which is good. Armor piercing, but low armor, so you actually, if you hit it, does a lot of damage. Phoenixes, good design unit. Like them a lot. On the other end of the spectrum, let's also go with a monster. Norska, Frostworms. Terrible unit. Terribly designed unit. Don't even know what the hell. Chilling Aura, that's good. That's fine. Frost Breath. Fine in concept. It doesn't apply a slow, which is dumb. Fire weakness, I talked about it in the Norska interview, but I don't think a creature made entirely of ice should be weak to fire. It should probably take less damage from fire, in my opinion, because like a fire arrow wouldn't be able to pierce it, if that makes sense. Like, it would just hit the hard ice and drop to the ground. It's not like an arrow would really melt that much of it. I don't know. Like, also, ice puts out fire. Like, anyway, you ever tried setting a glacier on fire? It doesn't work so great, does it? Missile resist is fine, but its melee stats are way, way too low. And its health pool is actually really low, too, for what it is. So the Frostworm, I wouldn't make it cheaper, I would just make it better, so it's actually worth taking at any point, but it's just kind of a terrible unit. Also, fire weakness on things made out of ice is stupid. I don't agree with it. Try setting a glacier on fire. I fucking dare you. So that was 2 and 2. One more good unit, one more bad. Oh, there's a lot of good units. What do I want to focus on? Dwarves, I guess. Dwarf Warriors are great. I love Dwarf Warriors as a concept. And I don't, again, this isn't like, this is the best unit in the game. I'm saying design-wise, it's great. You look at Dwarves, these are stocky boys, 85 armor, high leadership, high health, abysmal speed and melee attack. Their melee defense is incredible for a 450 unit. They have charge defense just because they're so friggin' stalwart and amazing. Dwarf Warriors is an excellently designed unit. You look at it and you know immediately what it does. That is a very tanky boy that won't hurt me, but he's going to stand there forever. Good unit design. Excellent unit design. Love it. Trying to think of a third shit unit that I can quickly point at. I'm tempted to go with Britonia. Let's take a look at the Dark Elves. Dark Elves usually have shit units. Oh, no, I know the unit. It's High Elves. Okay. High Elves. I know this has been a meme forever, but I'm going to do a duo of the Phoenix Guard and the Swordmasters of Hoeth. Neither of them have ITP, which is nuts if you consider that, I mean, Dryads, earlier in this video, I mentioned they have ITP. Some stupid 550 trees have ITP, but these guys will tear out at the first sign of trouble. Black Orcs have ITP. Black Orcs are more elite than the Phoenix Guard. The Phoenix Guard, for reference, in the lore, you become a Phoenix Guard by seeing a vision. Like, after all your training, you go see a vision that tells you exactly how you're going to die. These fucking guys are going to tear her out? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Also, their melee stats aren't that incredible, considering how expensive they are. 38, 40 isn't really great. 46, 30 is not that great either. They have high armor. No real charge bonus, but they are an infantry. They're 32 speed, which is pretty slow. A little bit of physical resist on the Phoenix Guard. Swordmasters of Hoeth are only 150 gold less than the Phoenix Guard, though. They have less armor, less leadership, less melee defense. Better melee attack, but once you include the bonus versus large, I mean, Phoenix Guard will be a lot better versus things that matter, while Swordmasters will be slightly better against chaff. But Burning Heads will kill them, yada yada, yada yada. And I'm curious about how Black Orcs compare. Black Orcs. Yeah, they have 1,800 more health, more armor, less leadership, which is good. Higher weapon strength, though, and ITP. ITP is pretty huge. So, yeah. Phoenix Guard and Swordmasters could honestly use some magic resist, so you can't just Burning Head them down. But, again, it feels bad to have an elite halberd unit just get terror-outed off the map, which is a little tedious. A little tedious. So why bring this up? What was the point of this video? It's to look into Game 3. Because imagine this. And I know you can imagine it, because it's happened to us before. But Kislev comes into the game, and in campaign, they're worried about Kislev just routing because they're fighting demons all game. So they give like way too many Kislev units ITP. And then all of a sudden all the old game races just suck to the demons. Because if they give Kislev a whole bunch of ITP, then they can feel free to give the demons a lot of cause fear and cause terror, which might be applicable. But then you think about like the High Elves that we were just looking at. Do any of their infantry have ITP? Literally none. So if the demons fight the High Elves, like they could just tear out your entire front line, which is pretty bad when some drunken Kislevites could stand there forever and not tear out. So you're going to have to be careful about balancing that, not just making Kislev the ITP faction. Also, they're going to have to be careful about balancing demons. The Dryads are more of my example for that one, where it's just like you should be able to visually tell what's about to happen to you. So if I see like a Nurgling, right, or a Nurgle creature that's like this big fat toad with the long tongues like we saw in the video, it should probably be slow. and not like fucking booking ass. Because this just looks weird. This looks weird. Why are those Dryads just booking ass past these elves? These are elves, for God's sake. Look at them go. It's dumb. That is a dumb thing, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, but hopefully in Warhammer 3 things will make a little bit more sense compared to, you know, what they are. I wouldn't hate for ogres to have a lot of ITP in their roster, because they do hunt giant monsters for fun, and tame them and or eat them. So that would be good. Though actually we can look at the ogre roster. ITP, no ITP on the basic ogres, but that's fine. So that's already a bit of a promising sign. Still though, please CA. Please design units well. I'm begging you. And why Dryads have all this stuff is probably just because in campaign it didn't matter too much. You can take as many things as you want in campaign because you can afford it with a big economy, but online 550 is way too cheap for all these stats. And online where, you know, bang per buck actually matters more than in campaign where you can just get infinite of whatever you want as long as you have the building to sustain it. So, I also love to focus on their pricing. I am honestly a little worried the demons are going to come out strong. Stronger than a lot of the old factions, because they'll just... As I mentioned with Kislev, I'll go more broadly. I'm worried they're going to internally balance around Cathay, Kislev, and the Oak Kingdoms for the demons. And be like, alright, these 7 groups work well together. And then unleash it upon the Game 2 and Game 1 factions. And it's like, alright, have fun with this abundance of ITP and magic resist and you know, over-kitted units, but they're all over-kitted against each other, so have fun Game 2 races. Because then the biggest concern is that when Game 3 first comes out without Mortal Empires, you're only going to have the Game 3 factions, so the competitive scene might be a little limp for a while. And it'll be very exciting when the other races get added back in, but if the other races are all very far behind in design philosophy, then it won't matter that you added them because they're still going to suck. I.e., look at, like, Old Lords versus New Lords. The Sisters of Twilight are fucking ridiculous compared to... Oh, who was the first DLC? I mean, Beastmen just got a rework, but if you look at, like, Kazric versus Sisters, not really comparable. Kazric versus Grom the Paunch, another chariot character, not really comparable. He's just better, even after Kazric got some reworks. Things like that. Or Alberic de Bordeleau was a very old DLC, because Bretonnia was an old DLC, and you compare him to, like, oh, who else was new? Oxyotl or Torox. You know what I mean? So it's like, when all of our recent DLC experiences have been a little bit game-breaking, honestly, and just defined the new meta because the new toys are so good, it worries me that Game 3 will continue that design philosophy and just all the Game 3 factions are going to be way over-tuned compared to their old counterparts. So anyway, there's my little pew-pew video. GLHF nerds. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to say like and subscribe. Do that so we can reach 1,000 and YouTube can acknowledge my existence. Pretty please.